So I just got back from talking to the neighbors up the block, and apparently they just purchased that house for $100,000 over asking. Our dog Ginger the other day was limping, and she's only 8 months old, and we were leaving the house, and as we were leaving, we were just talking about how people nowadays would afford vet bills and whatnot to actually buy or rent a house. So the discussion came up, what would we do if we were just starting out and we needed to buy or rent a home? Now, I know some people say that renting is just throwing your money away and that buying a house is the way to go. And they say that because it's better to build equity and stop making your landlord rich. But there are others who say that owning a house is a liability, and they say that instead of buying a house, you should continue renting and use the money that you would have to spend on a home purchase to invest and build wealth. Well, I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube, and it's about buying versus renting, and most of them make big mistakes resulting in inaccurate comparisons. And they compare about buying a $500,000 house, which costs $3,300 a month to own, and it could be rented for $2,100 a month, which is insane because no landlord would rent out a $500,000 house for so cheap. They usually go for $3,500. It's usually pretty much the same. So let's do an in-depth analysis of buying versus renting and make sure we're comparing apples to apples. We can't be comparing $1 million mansion to renting a studio apartment, and if you think I made any mistakes in the analysis, let me know in the comments below. And please like the video, support me, because making these videos with my 4-year-old and my 6-year-old son running around is not easy. Now, to accomplish this comparison, I searched Zillow for a house that was about $300K, and it was located here in Toms River, New Jersey. I did some research and found a similar house in the same area that rents at about $2,200 a month, and that means that the market rent for this is around $2,000 mark. These are just rough numbers, just to give you an idea. Now, keep in mind, the homeowners stay in their homes for an average of 13 years, so that's the time frame we'll be using. And also, I'm assuming an annual inflation rate of 2%, which is how much expensive things will get year over year. So when you rent, you'll have to pay a monthly rent of about $2,200, and on top of that, you'll need renter's insurance, which is incorporated into the monthly payment. Now, you'll also have to deal with many fees that landlord will tack on for stuff, you know, like parking possibly, maybe utility management, stuff like that, garbage pickup, which I add at about $100. So your totally monthly payment will probably be about $2,300 a month. And keep in mind that your rent and other expenses will probably continue to rise every year for over 13 years due to inflation. I usually increase my tenants' rent between 3% and 5% a year. Now, in fact, after 13 years of renting, we'd have to pay about $2,600 a month, which is a lot of money. But if we bought a $300,000 house, we would have had to put a down payment of about $36,000, $6,000 for closing costs. So by choosing to rent, we've actually saved $42,000, which is a lot of money, and we can invest it in an S&P 500 index fund like Warren Buffett states and get an average of 7% a year, which would turn our $42,000 into about $115,000 after 13 years, which is equivalent to about $500 a month. We could deduct this amount from our totally monthly cost of $2,139, which is about true average monthly cost of renting a home over the past 13 years. But if you really wanted to buy a house, remember the $36,000 down payment plus the closing costs, which total $42,000, you'd have to take out a mortgage, and with the average 30-year fixed rate out of about 3%, which is a little outdated, let's say it's 5%. I'm just going by the numbers I have. I have 2.875. Your payment will be about $1,100 a month, which is fixed and won't adjust for inflation. That doesn't include taxes or taxes in escrow. But hold on, owning a home comes with a lot of other expenses, and you'll have to pay property taxes. You know, the average over 13 years is $600 a month. You'll also need homeowners insurance. Don't forget repairs, maintenance. Don't forget buying 3 washing machines after every 10 years. I mean, I went through 3 washing machines. I'm in my house 20 years. I went through 3 refrigerators. You know, every 20 years you're gonna need a roof. these things go bad, you gotta, set that money aside as well. Now for repairs and maintenance, and don't forget vet bills, because Ginger's vet bills are probably gonna be ridiculous. You gotta keep in reality that these are all expenses and can add up to more than $200 a month. And on top of that, we have to pay mortgage insurance, which is $100 a month. And this means our total monthly housing expense will be $2,200 a month. But don't worry, because none of this is a cost. And when we make monthly payments towards your mortgage, we're not only paying off the interest, but we're also building equity in the home. Now, we'll be paying about $600 a month in principal, which is like a forced savings account since you're building equity, and it's trapped in the home until you either sell or refinance it. I like to pull out a home equity line of credit every time my value goes up, because now that's almost like cash, and you can actually use that home equity line of credit to take that money and invest in other assets like another rental property, and then use that money to pay your house down again. Now, owning a home also comes with tax savings, which we could deduct our mortgage interest payments, our property taxes, and we have depreciation over time. Now, based on our marginal tax rate of 25% and over a long time horizon, we can expect our home to appreciate in value just like the historical trends in the past. So let's assume that the value will go up about 2% per year, which means after 13 years, it'll only be worth about $400,000, which is from $310,000. That's not much considering all the other expenses we have to pay. So we also have to factor in the cost of closing the home. So that's $6,000, and that's a write-off as well. So when we add up all these expenses, our net monthly cost of owning a house is about $1,000. But wait, there's more. Now, since our housing payment is lower than our rent payment, we can invest the extra $500 a month into the stock market at an annual percent rate of 7 to 8%. This will actually make us a whopping $120,000 over 13 years, which is equivalent to about $760 a month in extra income. That's if we don't have a lost decade like Ray Dalio is saying, the next 10 years in the United States. So if we take all these factors into account, the true cost of owning a $300,000 house is about $230 a month, which might sound too good to be true, but that's the power of tax advantages, house appreciation, depreciation, equity buildup, and investing the difference. But don't get me wrong, just because buying a house is cheaper in this particular situation doesn't mean it's always like that and it's the best option for everyone. If you don't want to deal with the hassles of repairs, buying and selling, and you want the flexibility to move wherever you want, then renting might be a better choice for you. Plus, you need to consider that buying and selling a house is costly, and if you don't plan to live in the house for very long, you might not have enough time to recover these costs. So renting could be a smarter move overall. Now, you're probably wondering about our dog, Ginger, who's a beautiful King Charles Spaniel. Well, my wife just got back from bringing her from the vet visit, and after about $400 in vet bills for x-rays and checkups and to see what's going on with her knees, the doctor is saying she might need to see a knee specialist, which is a dog orthopedist. I didn't know there were dog orthopedists that existed, but since they are, she's gonna bring them there. Now, she might have knee problems and might need knee surgery, according to him, but this breed also has issues and it's known for that. So it's the last thing that we really want to hear to our beautiful little 8-month-old puppy, Ginger, and I'm really heartbroken that at 8 months she's limping, because I really wasn't expecting her to have issues like this until she got a little bit older. But I'll keep you guys posted to see on the next couple of videos on how she's doing.